Today we are starting what are the different methods to increase or decrease friction. Before starting this, you will be astonished, you will be surprised to know that force of friction between narrow tires and road is equal to the force of friction between similar wider tires and road. That means friction is independent of area of contact. This point also we have discussed in the last class. How can we increase friction? Friction is the force acting between two surfaces in contact with each other. Friction is a special type of force which act along the surface of contact. Which surface? On which other object is moving or other object is placed. So since force of friction act along the surface, it is also known as tangential force, tangent force. This is also work along the surface of contact. And always remember, friction always opposes the movement of objects. Friction, but we cannot remove friction 100% because it is necessary as well as it is um, obstruction causing also, problematic also, in both way. So we need friction up to an optimum value. So sufficient friction is required for smooth movement of object. Friction should not be zero. Friction should not be very, very high. In both the cases, movement of objects will be difficult. So, depending upon our need, depending upon the condition, we need to increase friction sometimes or decrease friction other time. Friction should be there for smooth movement of object over another surface. When we increase the friction, increase the friction, that means we have to make the surfaces of contact rougher. थोड़ा सा रफ बनाना होता है to increase friction, and to decrease friction we have to make the surface smooth. वो चिकना बनाना होगा, रफनेस रिमूव करनी होगी. So this is how the basic mechanism behind increasing or decreasing friction. When we make the surface of contact rough, friction increases. When we make the surface of contact smooth, friction decreases. Whenever friction is required, as per our need, it is increased by making the surfaces rough. We can have the idea. We have traits on tires. We have traits on the sole of slippers, sandals. Traits and grooves improve the grip on the road of tires and shoes. Traits and grooves make their grip on the road better. This increases the friction to desired value and helps us to avoid skidding or slipping. Athletes and other sportsmen Athletes and other sportsmen often make use of friction. Gymnasts often apply some coarse material, rough material, or chalk powder on their hands. By doing so, they increase the friction between their hands and uneven bars जिन पर उनको स्विंग करना होता है या जंप करना है या होल्ड करना है किसी बार को, तो they apply some rough material on their palm. This gives them a better grip. Kabaddi players rub their hands with soil for having a better grip on their opponents. So this is how, by making the surface rough, we can increase friction. In the same way, we can also reduce friction between two surfaces of contact. For this, we have to make the surfaces smooth. We can make the surfaces smooth by polishing, when we polish a surface, its roughness decreases. Surface becomes smooth and friction gets reduced. This can also be done by using sandpaper. Sandpaper, वो मोटा कागज होता है, उसके ऊपर sand चिपका होता है. And
Yes, ma'am.
when we rub the sandpaper on
Yes, ma'am.
something जिसको smooth करना है, तो that object become, ये especially before distemper वगैरह जब हम लोग करवाते हैं, चूना करवाते हैं, तो sandpaper से पुराना पेंट हटाया जाता है रगड़ करके, and then fresh paint is applied. Lubrication also, some oil material, grease material, कुछ ऐसी चीजें हों, that is lubrication. When a few drops of oil are poured on the hinges of a door. आजकल ये बहुत देखने में आ रहा है मॉनसून सीजन, और ये दरवाजे ना तो खोलने मतलब हार्ड, खोलना बंद करना डिफिकल्ट, उनके हिंज जहाँ कब्जा लगा हुआ है वो हार्ड हो जाता है, तो वहाँ ऑयल ड्रॉप्स पोर करने से दे बिकम स्मूथ, वहाँ फ्रिक्शन इज रिड्यूस्ड. When a few drops of oil are poured on the hinges of a door, the door moves much more smoothly. Bicycle and motor mechanic use grease between the moving parts of these machines. वो बीच बीच में ऑयलिंग करनी होती है, वो ग्रीस लगाना होता है. In all these cases, we want to reduce friction in order to increase efficiency, working efficiency, to improve movement of the object. Oiling is done. Oil-like substances which help to reduce friction when put on a surface are called lubricants. Three types of lubricants: liquids like oil, semi solid such as grease, and solid lubricants such as powder, talcum powder. Carom board, remember? Carom board खेलते हैं तो पाउडर छींटते हैं उस बोर्ड के ऊपर, so that the
Yes,
strikers,
ma'am.
हाँ,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
that the strikers and other moving parts जो हैं उसके, they just run on the board smoothly, move on the board smoothly. When we apply a lubricant between the moving part of a machine, a thin layer is formed between two surfaces. ये जो lubricant है, oil हो, grease हो, कुछ भी हो, वो यहाँ वहाँ फैल जाते हैं and make a thin layer between two surfaces. As the surfaces now do not rub against each other directly, अब ना एक दूसरे को के ऊपर घिसते नहीं हैं, because friction is reduced. Interlocking of surfaces is also reduced considerably and movement becomes easier. Oiling and greasing of machine results in less wear and tear. ये whenever we apply lubricants between the two parts of the machinery, तो that means ये जो damaging होती है due to friction, घिस गए, निशान पड़ने लगते हैं, damage होने लगते हैं, तो that is wear and tear of the parts also reduced greatly. This also helps to increase the efficiency, working capacity, efficiency of machines. Sometimes we use solids as lubricants. For example, when we play a game of carom board, we often sprinkle talcum powder on the carom board. By sprinkling talcum powder, the friction between the striker and the board is very much reduced, and the striker moves smoothly on the board. In some machine, air cushions between the moving part is also often used to reduce friction. एक देखो, there is a photo, hovercraft. Hovercraft का फोटो है. Hovercraft is a vehicle which can travel on both land and water without much friction. और जो बेस होता है होवरक्राफ्ट का, नीचे वो लेदर या रबर का वो उस तरह से बना होता है, और उसके अंदर हवा भरी रहती है. दिस इज एयर कुशन. एयर कुशन. और आजकल जो अभी बहुत सारी जो गाड़ियां आती हैं, तो एयर कुशंस भी बने होते हैं, और जब एक्सीडेंट होता है तो एयर कुशन अपने आप खुल जाता है, उसमें हवा भर जाती है, और आगे की सीट पर जो लोग बैठे हुए हैं वहाँ आगे की ओर टकराए नहीं वो लोग, स्टीयरिंग से या आगे शीशे से टकराए नहीं, तो उनकी उनकी बॉडी उनके चेस्ट के बीच और कार का आगे वाला हिस्सा वो एयर कुशन आ जाता है. वो चेस्ट को, वो
Ma'am, it
रिब्स
is
को,
called airbag.
वो
One
चेस्ट को,
question.
कुशन, बैग्स, ब्लैडर तीनों एप्लीकेबल है. और वो रिब्स को टूटने से बचाता है, हार्ट डैमेज नहीं होता है। तो दिस इज हाउ, वहाँ वो अलग फंक्शन है, वो शॉक एब्जॉर्बर के तौर पर काम करता है, लेकिन अदरवाइज एयर कुशन also, hovercraft moves on a cushion of air provided by powerful pumps. ये hovercraft move करता है। तो ये जो air cushion है, it also in some special cases it also acts as lubricant by making the movement of object smoother, easier. It provides an elastic cushion between the moving parts, thus reducing friction. It has the added advantage, एक और advantage है देखो, of preventing dust and dirt from collecting on the moving parts. अंदर air circulate करता है तो dust और dirt वो सब जम वो deposit नहीं होता. It is these properties of air that play a very important role in smooth ride of a hovercraft. Third one is ball bearing. Some round parts वाले कुछ हिस्से बनाए जाते हैं. Ball bearing, you also can see the picture. Should I show you ball bearing? Ball bearing, I am going to show you. Can you see ball bearing? Can
No,
you see?
ma'am.
You
No,
cannot
ma'am.
see. They cannot
No,
see.
ma'am. No,
Okay,
ma'am.
please. Okay. Leave it. Leave
No,
it.
ma'am. No, ma'am.
Leave it. Leave it. Ball bearing. Rolling friction. Rolling friction is smaller than sliding friction. Sliding can be replaced by rolling by use of ball bearing. For example, we use all ball bearings in shafts of motors, dynamos, axles of vehicles. जो पैडल और हैंडल चलाने वाला जो पोर्शन होता है, all these are called shafts, and so on. I'm going to show you a particular video regarding how to increase and decrease friction. Very small video of a few minutes only. Just see it, very interesting. Just see it.
You can easily hold a glass tumbler in your hand.
Can you see the video?
But will the same be true?
Yes, ma'am.
The outer surface of the same glass tumbler is made greasy or has a wheels reduce friction.
Did you see the video?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Nice video, very simple type and entirely based on your syllabus. Jitna padhna hai, in the same way it was written there. So this is how we can we have the idea of friction. It is useful as well as it is harmful. Accordingly, we have to reduce or increase the friction as per our need. ठीक है, वी कैन, हम लोग को इंक्रीज और डिक्रीज करना होता है फ्रिक्शन, जैसा हम लोग का काम है, एज पर आवर नीड वी हैव टू मेक एडजस्टमेंट लाइक दिस. द नेक्स्ट पार्ट इज फ्लूइड फ्रिक्शन और ड्रैग, DRAG, ड्रैग करना मीन्स घसीटना. Fluid friction is also known as drag. Flowing materials are called fluids, such as all gases, all liquids. जितने सारे हैं, जितने सारे liquids, जितने सारे gases, all are called fluid. When an aeroplane flies, when birds fly, when boats sail, so all face friction. Aeroplane faces friction from air. Boat and ship, they also get opposition force, friction applied by water. So this is how they also, all these vehicles, air, boat, ships, all these means of transport face friction applied by air or water. Fluid friction. Uh, whenever a solid objects move over some solid surface, ये तो हम लोगों ने पढ़ चुका, friction between solid and solid. Now we are starting with solid moving in air or solid moving on water. When an object moves through air, the air also exerts a force of friction even though air itself is very light and thin. फिर भी ये कुछ ना कुछ फोर्स अप्लाई करती है to oppose the movement of flying body. We can call this friction as air resistance. It also opposes the motion of object through it. यहाँ भी motion को movement को oppose करना है. Air, water, and other liquids also exert a force of friction when objects move through them. The fluids, that means the fluids also exert force of friction, also called drag, on objects moving through them. There are three factors. There are three factors on which fluid friction depends upon. किन किन चीज़ों पर डिपेंड करता है फ्लूइड फ्रिक्शन? देयर आर थ्री फैक्टर्स. द फर्स्ट वन, नेचर ऑफ फ्लूइड. कौन सा फ्लूइड है? एयर है, वाटर है, पेट्रोल है, डीजल है, कितना डेंस, कितना थिन, नेचर ऑफ फ्लूइड. द सेकेंड वन, शेप ऑफ मूविंग ऑब्जेक्ट. मूविंग ऑब्जेक्ट का शेप कैसा है? दैट मीन्स छोटा है, बड़ा है, पॉइंटेड है, ट्राइंगल है, स्क्वायर है, अकॉर्डिंगली एक्चुअली इट इज इक्वल टू द एरिया ऑफ कॉन्टैक्ट. कितना एरिया है, कैसा एरिया है, अकॉर्डिंगली. एंड द थर्ड वन, स्पीड ऑफ द मूविंग ऑब्जेक्ट विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू एयर और वाटर, विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू द फ्लूइड. कितनी तेजी से मूव, फास्टर इज द स्पीड ऑफ ऑब्जेक्ट, मोर इज द फ्रिक्शन अप्लाइड बाई देम. ये होता है. एयर और वाटर उतना ही फ्रिक्शन अप्लाई करता है. स्पीड ऑफ मूविंग ऑब्जेक्ट. एयर रेजिस्टेंस इंक्रीजेस विथ एन इंक्रीज इन द स्पीड ऑफ ऑब्जेक्ट मूविंग थ्रू इट. देयर इज एन एक्टिविटी 6. आई एम गोइंग टू एक्सप्लेन हियर. आई एम गोइंग टू प्रेजेंट यू स्क्रीन. This is whiteboard. There is a plain paper. Plain paper, any copy, rough copy or whatever. You take a page of your copy, old copy. Don't waste paper. This is the paper and simply fly. Simply just fly in air. It will come down slowly and slowly and slowly and it will fall down like this. The same way, in the same way, fold this paper and make a paper plane. And make a paper plane and just throw in air. It will come down. It will come down after a few seconds. In which case, plain paper or plain paper, just ordinary paper without any folding, and this aeroplane, paper aeroplane, which one will come down faster?
Paper aeroplane.
Paper aeroplane. Paper aeroplane, because it has now it
Aeroplane.
just हो गया. I got the answer. Just like this, ये जो paper plane है, it has particular shape. It is folded to give particular shape. Area has reduced in comparison to the original paper. Now the same paper aeroplane, the same, just crumble it. इसको एकदम मोड़ करके और इसको क्रश करके you make a paper ball like this. Just you make a paper ball and just now throw in air. Now the third time its speed will be fastest क्योंकि it has reduced area. Ordinary paper, paper aeroplane, paper ball. paper ball has the minimum area and so its speed will be maximum. If the area is less, speed will be more in air. ये है, this is particular area of contact. This activity shows that fluid friction depends upon the area of contact. Area of contact, we can say shape of the moving object or area of contact, the same answer. Now the second one, have you noticed the shape of a bird? The shape of a bird is like this: pointed in front, pointed in back, and broad in the middle. The shape of a fish, it is like this: pointed in front, pointed in back, and broad in the middle. The shape of a boat, pointed in front, pointed in back, and broad in the middle. Broad in the middle. Same is the case with aeroplane. You can see the aeroplane, it is like this: pointed in front, pointed in back, and broad in the middle. Aage narrow, back narrow, and broad in the middle. This type of shape provide faster speed in fluid medium. And this type of shape is known as streamlined shape or streamlined bodies. इस तरह के ऑब्जेक्ट बोलते हैं streamlined body or streamlined shape, and the movement is known as streamlined flow. This type of movement, this the other name is fusiform, लेकिन streamline word is more common, and we will also use this particular term. Special shapes are given to the object to move in different fluid medium, and this particular shape is known as streamlined shape, and the objects are called streamlined bodies. This type of streamlined, actually you know what happens when a body is like this. चलो ऐसे बात कर रहे हैं. When a body is like this, तो air strikes this pointed medium and equally get divided into two opposite sides. And this is how friction is reduced. After hitting the front pointed end of the streamlined body, the air resistance gets divided into two opposite sides, and this is how air resistance reduces. Same happens in water also. Sports vehicles, aeroplane, boat, etc. All these are given a special shape called streamlined shape. Air flows smoothly over their surfaces in such a way that every air particle passes a particular point from the front part with the same speed and in the same direction and get same direction. Such a flow is called streamlined flow. Reduces friction. A streamlined flow of air over the surface of a vehicle reduces friction and helps it to acquire a faster speed. Sports car also, उन लोग की speed वगैरह तो also very higher, very higher. Once again, I'm going to present a screen. Once again,
अब ग्रोसरी स्टोर से जरूरत का सामान घर पर ही डिलीवर होने लगा है। आज ही डाउनलोड करें बॉक्स ऐप। Easily deformed. Let's discuss a is referred to as dry. Does friction exist only between solid parts? Not necessarily. Friction is offered by fluids like air and water as well. And this force of friction due to fluids is referred to as a fluid friction. The friction we've seen between solid parts is referred to as dry friction. The major states of matter are solid, liquid, and gas. And liquids and gases are generally referred to as fluids. Why are liquids and gases considered to be fluids? One common characteristic of fluids is that they have no fixed shape and can be easily deformed. Let's discuss a bit more about fluid friction in this lesson. Just like solids, fluids too exert a force of friction when objects move through them. Do you think air offers resistance? Doesn't seem intuitive, right? When I drop a stone from a particular height, it falls to the ground. Does air offer resistance here? Of course it does. What about water? Does it offer resistance? Yes, when the fish swim, they encounter fluid resistance from the water. The frictional force exerted by fluids is also referred to as drag. What does fluid friction depend on? Let's talk about the first obvious factor. It's the nature of the fluid. To understand this point, you just need to answer a simple question. An object moves from point A to B through air, and in the second case, a similar object travels from A to B through water. Which object do you think encounters more resistance? Clearly, it will be the water, right? Yes, more the thickness of the fluid, greater will be the frictional force acting on an object which moves through it. There's a term which describes a fluid's resistance to flow. It's called viscosity. So here we can say that the water is more viscous than air. Higher the viscosity, more will be the resistance offered by that fluid. Honey is more viscous than water, which is why it offers more friction than water. That was the first factor affecting fluid friction, the nature of the fluid. Can you think of any other factor? Another factor is the speed with which the object is traveling. Higher the speed of the object moving through a fluid, greater will be the frictional force acting on it. A vehicle traveling at 100 miles per hour will face more drag of air as compared to a similar vehicle traveling at 50 miles per hour. Apart from the nature of the fluid and the speed with which the object is traveling, is there any other factor on which fluid friction depends on? Yes, it also depends on the shape of the object. And it's really important that we understand this factor well. Have you ever thought about why aeroplanes are shaped like this? It could just have been a rectangular box flying in the air. How have the fish evolved to be shaped like this? Why are the ships designed to be given this shape? There's a reason for all this. They're given a streamlined shape to minimize the fluid friction. The shape of the aeroplane, if you notice, is like that of a bird. This process of giving an object a particular shape to decrease the fluid friction is known as streamlining. Streamlining the object can greatly reduce the resistance offered by the fluid. A car faces lesser friction from air as it has a streamlined shape. A bus, on the other hand, will face more air friction as it doesn't have a streamlined shape. So these were the different factors on which fluid friction depends. Nature of the fluid, the speed of the object flowing through the fluid, and the shape of the object. Varun.
So this was all about friction chapter. We have come to the end of friction chapter. Today's homework is question A, B and C. Do yourself. I think you can do. Any doubt? We will discuss in the next class. Fill in the blanks, true, false, and choose the correct answer. This is how we have to finish.